Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the David L. Moore Show. I am your host, Dave Moore. Guess who I have with me? I got some friends with me. I got some brothers with me. I got people with me who believe in the same things that I believe in. Introduce yourself, my brother.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave, a.k.a. Gray, a.k.a.
Yes, sir.
the unofficial mayor of St. Louis. If you don't know, now you know. And the QB, Hustle Different Podcast. Here rocking with my man Dave L. Moore, man. This is a pleasure to be here, man. I appreciate the invite.
Hey, I love you, brother. I appreciate
you know
that.
what it is.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what it is. If y'all know already, y'all know. Y'all seen this man plenty of time. Look, this ain't my show. I'm gonna quit talking. Man, keep it going, Dave.
Introduce yourself, my brother.
Hey, y'all, what's up, man? It's your main man, J. Ali in the building, man, also known as the Fly J. Ali. Hey, man, we've been waiting for this a long time.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got my brother QB over there on the other side. I got Davey right, Dave Moore, man. Hey, man, this is a collaboration, man. This is what we're here to do, man. J. Ali in the building.
There you go. There you go. So, like normal, last time we'll have a little recap. We talked about mind, body, and soul, right? So today, we were talking a little bit earlier, Jay, before you got here, Dave. We were talking about a question that I asked on your show.
Okay.
The question was, what was the question?
The question was, if you were married and you got a divorce, did you fail?
That was the question.
Yeah, and we kind of went through that, and you know, if y'all go back, if y'all check me out, I said yes, it's a failure because it is that's one thing that you said that you were going to complete. You're not a failure at life.
Right.
You're a failure at your marriage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because you signed up, like we said, till death do you part. If one of y'all ain't dead, you failed.
Right.
Basically, if that's the bottom line.
It is.
If that's the bottom line.
It is, because I think a lot of people, when you ask that question or you ask a question that strikes a nerve with people, and that's what I like to do, man. I like to ask questions that strike nerves because that's what stimulates growth, right? So if you ask a question, anybody who's been divorced, if you ask that question to, you're going to watch them squirm a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to watch them say, well, depending on the circumstances.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I wouldn't have... That's not the topic. Mm-hmm. The topic is, if you are divorced, did you fail? And the reason people get squirmy is because they associate negative connotations with words that really shouldn't be there.
True.
Just because you fail at one thing does not make you a failure. Mm-hmm. It means that you didn't succeed at that one scenario.
Yep.
But I think too many times in life, man, when we don't hear what we want to hear, we don't get the answer or the response that we want to get, instead of taking, my favorite word, accountability, instead of taking accountability and saying, hey, maybe I need to change. Maybe it's self that's the problem. Mm-hmm. What they want to do is they want to cast judgment and demonize somebody else and blame them for the L. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing it too much, and it's bothering me a little bit, man, because I'm watching a pattern happen, and that pattern, man, it's not conducive of us being successful.
And Dave, another thing is trigger words that are encompassed in that question. Mm-hmm. So when you use that word fail, that person's, from a psychological standpoint, that person's mind goes into anything they ever failed at, period.
Right.
So now they don't want to associate themselves with anything that could relegate to failure, bro. Mm-hmm. So what they'll rather say is giving out. And that was difficult for me, mm-hmm. bro, especially being in a professional environment. One of the most difficult things for me to ever do was to be able, something that I had my hand directly involved in, to be able to accept that failure piece, bro. Mm-hmm. And as far as a marriage, I've never been married, mm-hmm. but as far as a marriage, you, like Dave said, you were a key player in that agreement. Mm-hmm. And if it fails, then you fail too.
Right.
Because it takes two to tango.
Ever see the whole thing too is that, since we on the topic, we just gonna use marriage, we just gonna stay on that. Basically, sacrifice goes into if you fail or not in a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, it's really depending on how much you are willing to give. And y'all know me. That's why I'm here. They know me. So basically, it's like I know my wife's limits.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw her limits,
Mm-hmm.
I said if I'm a pass, I knew if I was going to pass or fail.
Right.
When I saw her at her absolute worst, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was the lowest dirty dog on the planet. I was every name in the book. And, I had a few pots and pans thrown at me and all that stuff, but I lived.
Mm.
And I said, okay, well, as long as I'm living, that's the worst she gonna do is yell at me and throw a few pans. I can take that.
Right.
And then I figured out a way to dodging trigger words, like you saying, me dodging trigger words with my wife helped me to succeed because I learned from it. I learned the trigger words. And those trigger words didn't affect me in any way, Dave. You get what I'm saying? In any way. I say if I don't say these 5 or 6 words that trigger her anger, how does that really affect my life?
Right.
By removing 5 words from my vocabulary. How hard can that be?
And
that's what I did.
That falls under your leadership, though, and that's the part of it that's a slippery slope, and it's an abundance of people, man, who I'm gonna call them for what they are, man. It's called paper champions.
Say that.
It's called paper champions.
Say that.
It's because you want all the things that come with being the man and being the king and being the one and being the tribal chief and being the head of the table, but you're not willing to go through the things that make you that.
Mm-hmm.
But what you will do is complain and run your mouth about not being there instead of doing the work to get there. And that part is the part that bothers me because I was on the phone this morning with one of my best friends, if not my best friend in the whole world, and we were talking about the subject came up, why do black men date outside your race, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had our back and forth because we go back and forth, man. I'm not going to have friends around me that's going to allow me and make sure I ain't got no DLN stuff on. To partake, and excuse my language, but fuckery. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to have nobody around me that's going to accept me doing that for real and not call me out on it. And I'm not going to have nobody around me that I can't do the same. Mm-hmm. So the word accountability, man, to me is very strong. The reason it's very strong is because you can't take credit for everything and then not take credit for the bad that happens too. Mm-hmm. That's the part where I think we get it mixed up. And that falls into relationships. That falls into, especially with females. Mm-hmm. It's an abundance of misguided people in the world. And you'll hear men say, well, the women in the world represent this and that, and I don't like it, and they're portrayed in this light. You'll hear men talk about females in ways that may not be the most becoming. They'll tell you and describe to you what you get out of them, the actions that come out of them. But the thing you're not doing is realizing that, man, everybody knows when they're in the presence of a king. Mm-hmm. Everyone. Mm-hmm. Everybody, man. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think. It don't matter what you have going on. When you see true royalty, you act the part.
So okay, so I could agree with you to a certain extent when it comes to that, especially as far as man and women relationships, mm-hmm. because we gotta compartmentalize this. Look, come on, Dave. We gotta.
I ain't got no bail.
Ben's gonna kill me. We gotta compartmentalize this because we'll have to look at it from a whole demographic aspect, like delineated, right? Mm-hmm. It's something called delineated statistics, right? You have to segment it. But I'm just gonna keep it straightforward. When it comes to our communities, bro, that would be the ideal situation. But just as you touched on what we talked about off camera, you have a lot of families where the woman is born is being raised, or the male is being raised by a single woman. And that's not, taking anything away from her, because she's doing the best job that she knows how to do. Okay. So if she's not rearing that young lady into understanding what it takes to be a wife. Remember, that's an important question. Were you raised to be a wife? How could they be raised to be a wife and be under the tutelage and leadership of a man if they didn't see their mothers do it? You need that model sometimes. That's not, being a wife is not on the job training.
Nope.
So you have a young lady that's not been raised to be a wife, and then you have a young man in a home that have not necessarily been raised to be a man. He's been raised to be a man from a woman's perspective. And if he doesn't have the right type of mentorship in his life to take the emotional part out, then now he's an emotional male. And there's places all over the United States that are full of emotional males.
Yes, it is.
So you got those two dynamics that are trying to work together. So she don't know how to recognize him as that leader, and he's too emotional to take that step forward and set aside his feelings and emotion for the greater good of the relationship. Like what Davey just said. You know what I'm saying? Taking that sacrifice and understanding that ledge, that's what knowledge, knowing the ledge is, and then moving forward. So she may not, that guy may be the best part of a leader, but she never saw a woman be under the leadership of a man. All she ever saw was a woman that dominated men, including her brother if she had one.
Now, I was on the phone with my buddy, and this is where he got me, because the statement is, you have to understand the history and how we got here in order to understand where we are and what we need to change. I told you I was gonna say it. So I don't want to jump too far ahead. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the history. But if you don't know the history of what happened, I challenge you to look that up. I challenge you to do the homework on that, and then what you're gonna do is come to some sort of realization. And the thing that I like to do the best, man, is actually solve problems. You see what I mean? Actually solve problems. But before I even get to that, I'm gonna ask you this: is this a true statement? Women expect single women who raise men expect the men to be versions of men that they can't attract themselves.
Ooh. That's a hard one now.
Ooh.
Because I come from a single parent house. And, Well, see, forget it. Yeah, look, everybody out there, look, this is going to be not the last time y'all see me. I'm the one that did all the dumb, I ain't got no Dave Elmore. I'm the one that did all the dumb shit. These two guys are very intelligent guys. Not saying I'm not intelligent, but I'm the one that did the other route.
There you go.
My mother told me, she was like, well, if you don't want to listen to me, if you want the streets to be your daddy, go ahead. You see what I mean? And that's no knock on my mother. My mother used reverse psychology on me. My mother came in the room when I turned 17 and 18 and everybody was smoking weed and stuff. My mother came in the kitchen and set a joint on the kitchen counter table. Said, here, if you want to smoke some dope, smoke it here with me. Because if you fall out at your friend's house, they're going to put you outside in the alley. Don't nobody want to call their mama and say, hey, mom, we skipped school for one. And plus, my friend in here ODing and we don't know what to do. You see, she said, here, you smoked it, and then if something happened, you here with your mama.
Right.
I didn't smoke no weed for years. Look, it was a whole reverse psychology thing. So my mother used it different. So me being in a single parent environment, it drove me to go to counseling as an older adult. That's where I'm rounding this off to, coming from that, because I was having problems in my marriage, because I didn't know how to be a husband.
Correct.
So we can't keep putting it on the wife not knowing how to be a wife. We weren't raised to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? Unless we were in that household where we saw what a husband did. If you didn't come from that, you might have saw it part-time, but anything part-time you don't absorb full-time. You get what I'm saying? Like my friends had both their parents, but I was
Yeah.
only at his house 2 hours every 3 days. So I only saw a little. But I was seeing full time single parent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Somebody
You
gonna
see?
raise your kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Whether
but-
it's you,
yeah, or the
the
streets,
streets,
whatever.
the TV,
Yes.
the radio, the system, a big brother, an uncle, or a somebody is gonna raise it.
Right, but like I said, I had to end up going to counseling, and I'm going back to your earlier to what you were saying about the history. I had to do the history on myself. I didn't know my own history, and that's crazy to say, but I really didn't know my own history. I knew what I saw, but how often do you look in the mirror and really look into yourself?
Right.
You look to see if you look fresh, and then you out the door.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. So the counselor told me, he said, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna go long, but he said, Dave, have you ever seen, he asked me, was my parents, that I had both parents? I said, no. He said, do you know your father? I said, no. But my mother had dating the same guy since I was 7 years old. Great dude, done, So he said, have you ever seen your mother and her boyfriend hold hands? I said, no. He said, have you ever seen your mother and her boyfriend kiss? I said, no. He said, have you ever seen your mother and her boyfriend do anything affectionate to each other? And I sat back and I said, damn. I went through my whole look, flashed through my life real quick. And I said, no. And he said, that's the problem. He said, do your wife have both her parents? I said, no, my mother. She lost her mother when she was 4. Lost her father when she was 33. He went to his girlfriend's house. The girlfriend didn't come to the house.
Right.
So she never saw the reciprocation. She never saw. So we both are learning this
On the fly.
And then you add emotion. It's a very turbulent thing because you think you're right. When you don't know something, if you think you know more than the next man, you think you're right.
Right. yeah.
I will leave it at that.
Hold on. Ding.
If you know what I'm saying? If you sitting in a room and there's a dude over there talking crazy to you, and that's your opinion that he's talking crazy.
Right. He could be selling facts.
But if you believe you smarter than him, that's what's gonna go in your mind. Like, I'm a dumb dude, or I'm way smarter than him. But you really don't know. That's all an assumption. You know what I mean? It's all assumption. Perception is reality. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Perception is reality. But spinning it back, it's hard to make that call about what a woman does because women are so different.
The dynamic.
The thought process, everything. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's just how we are. It's how our mock-up is. You know what I mean? Now, I don't want to go delve into this, but just say a woman that was supposed to be a man. It happens as, in childbirth sometimes. You have those situations. Now, that would be a whole different question to someone like that.
Yeah.
But us 3 men sitting here, you know what I'm saying, we're going to have our opinion on that. But as I'm saying, I'm going to stop, man. I love this, man. I love being on
Dave,
the
if
show
I
with
could
Dave.
touch on that.
Because I love talking with Dave anyway.
Come on.
And it's basically, I think you were saying, the single mom.
the single
mother
raising the-
wants the son to be a version of a man that she cannot attract herself.
Okay, so just real quick, I'm gonna sum it up in about 2 minutes.
Come on.
A minute 25.
Go.
The dynamic of that typically holistically. So we always got to look at the vast percentage, the majority. That's only 51%, right? A lot of people think it's what. So the majority of the mothers, especially in our communities, they raise their young boys to respect every woman. Okay, but they do not raise their daughters to do so. And that's where the dynamic falls.
Dang.
That's where the disconnect happens, because now you're a young man that's being raised by an emotional being. Primarily, they can reason and logic. You respect every woman, but they don't teach their daughters that. So the young man goes out into the world thinking that he should respect each and every woman, even if she doesn't deserve it. And not all. Respect is something that got to be earned on both parts. So now you have a young man out here that he may attract a woman that doesn't have his best interests at heart, but he was taught to respect every woman. So he respects her, and he continues to endure abuses mentally, physically, or whatever, that his counterpart, which is his sister, won't. Because her mother equips her to be fearful of every man. Don't respect them unless they earn it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the problem runs in. That's where the perception can come in.
That's heat right there, boy.
That's what he do. That's what he do, man.
Yeah,
that's what
heat.
he do. That's
what
he
heat.
do.
I am always. I use the term leadership, man, and I always think that if you telling me that this person represents leadership, right? If the man is the head of the household, let's say we have traditional stuff where it goes, the child goes to the mom goes to the father goes to God, right? Let's just say that's what it is. Not saying that's what it is. Y'all don't try to get me. Oh, you can. I'm built for that too.
Right.
If that's the hierarchy, accountability has to go somewhere. And if you say that the woman teaches it, what is it, 70% of households don't have fathers now? Is that about right? Well, what's the stat, Jay?
Yeah, so only about 1 in 4 in the African-American household is even married.
Okay.
So that means that there's only going to be about 24.9 or some percent of folks that are going to be in a household with the father and the mother.
Do you think that a presence can overcome all BS emotions and teachings?
No.
A presence.
No. And the only reason why I say that, real quick, 1 minute, the only reason why I say that is because you can have that presence and you can have that leadership quality or that influence, but you still have to drill it down to people are going to make a choice. It's all about choices. And that's what my dad would always tell me. An individual, God can't even control us like that, man. So an individual person is going to form their personality, and usually that happens by 5 years old. Depending on what they've been exposed to. They have a personality at that point. So you can have 2 brothers, 2 sisters or whatever in the same household, and they could be 2 totally different people. And that's based off of choices. They all got the same foundation, but it's a choice. That's all.
I'm gonna give you a real life scenario, and this is why I asked that question. I ain't gonna ask no without having a reason for it. Mm-hmm. Let's say a mother's in the house and trying to get the kid to go to bed. Kid don't want to go to bed. Kids saying, hollering, screaming, I ain't gonna go to bed.
Well, lions don't ask, lions roar.
Right. Dad comes home, hears mom saying, go to bed. Kid don't want to go to bed. All dad had to do was walk in the room, and guess what the kid do?
Go to bed.
He didn't have to say nothing.
The presence.
He didn't have to do nothing. He didn't have to. He just walked in the room, and the presence that he had corrected the behavior. So that's why I asked that question, because if you build, and the reason I asked that also is because I use my old man. Just a little history lesson, right? I'm fully aware that I'm a blessed young man. I'm fully aware that Nesby Moore Jr., man, I have had an abundance of everything. He's taught me an abundance mindset. And shout out to Adam Marburger for that abundance mindset comment. I seen that from him, and I like that. But he's made me have an abundance mindset from an early age, right? But the thing that I learned most from him, watching him in business and in life, is that he's not a man of a lot of words. Like, you know what his expectations are, so when he comes around, people just do. He don't have to tell you what to do because you already know what to do. You just not doing it. Mm-hmm. But once you get that presence, people start acting right. So does that mean that if we build ourselves up enough, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, that no matter what the teaching has been, you can make somebody act the way they're supposed to act just based on your presence? I see people now, you see on Facebook or you see on social media, the thing is, what's the guy, the gold digger prank guy? Where he'll sit there and he'll talk to him and, hey, can I have, oh, no, you going to buy me this? I've been talking to you for 10 minutes, buy me a purse, this, that, and that. Mm. I can't even be around that. I, it, me personally, I would not entertain that. Like, some stuff is not worth your attention. And I get it. People gonna call you arrogant. Yeah, they call me arrogant. People gonna call you self-indulgent. People gonna say things about you because you don't conform to what they think you're supposed to conform to, because in their opinion, you're supposed to follow them. Man, this world is hard to navigate. You've heard me say that before. It's hard, it's difficult to navigate at this specific time. But I have to get people to understand that the way you create change, and guess what? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I ain't a financial expert. I'm a dude who spends some cheese and come up on a podcast with his partners to have interesting conversation and chat with them and just put it out there so y'all can see, because this is a conversation that we will have on the phone, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there you know.
This is a conversation that we would normally have every day, but we putting it out there for y'all to see what we can talk, what we talk about. You have to have examples of people who are going to succeed. Not saying I'm your example, because I have my flaws. But I have my kick-ass ways too now. But I got my flaws. He got his flaws. He got his flaws. But through those flaws, you communicate and you keep your circle right. Once your circle is right, man, if you good at something that I'm not good at, I need you as an ally. If you good at something I'm not good at, I need you as an ally, because that means I'm good at something you're not good at. And I'm good at something you're not good at. So I don't have to worry about things when I know other people are good at the things that I'm not good at. Once you surround yourself with people and you say, these are the 10 core things that I think we have to have solidified before we can move forward. You find people, a group of people that's good at things, you combine your skills and you make sure that you're good at all 10 of those, man, you're moving forward. You're moving forward. I asked this question also, I said, what's the definition of a man? Who gave you a blueprint about what it takes to be a successful man in the United States of America in the year of their Lord, 2024? What is the definition of that?
It's not even a definition. That's not even a real question. It's what you perceive as success. Because people base top tier over, you know, the person who is the most successful, people feel like they're the most powerful. Seriously, a lot of people do. I'm not going to say everyone, a lot of people do.
If I said steps 1 through 4, give me 4 things that you consider make you a good man.
My first one is always sacrifice. What you willing to sacrifice. That your leadership abilities. Let me see. It's a lot of things jumbled up into those things that I'm just going to spread out. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't have 4. I'm serious. Your leadership abilities and what you're willing to sacrifice. You know, everything else is wrapped up into those 2 for me. Because I simplify things to where I don't have 10 things on my plate.
Right.
If I can.
That's a skill set, though.
Yeah, if I can, you know what I'm saying? I might put my mashed potatoes and my green beans together and not necessarily eat those separate. I might mix them up. It's still mashed potatoes and green beans, right?
Yep.
It didn't change the formula of it. You know what I mean? So that's just me, though. I'm really a hard person to ask those questions because I'm an only child. I got a lot of family, but I'm an only child for real. You know what I'm saying? So I've always had to simplify things. So my answers are kind of different from most. Only child, single parent home. You know, I am that guy. I'm that story. But look at me now. You see what I mean? So the presence was my uncle. You see what I mean? It wasn't my father. My presence was my uncle. I hear that cutlass pull up outside. I start cleaning up.
See?
Because mama been telling me to clean up for 3 days, but she had to call uncle over there. I hear the motor. Uncle didn't have to come in the house.
You already know better.
I heard the motor. I'm at the window like, whoa. Look, I'm kicking socks
buddy.
under the bed. I'm doing everything. But, so to me, it's just like I say, and then I guess the presence would be part of the whole thing too. Yeah, the presence. And like I said, the leadership, but the, what do you call it? The financial support of your family if you call yourself the head of a family.
You
see what I mean? Because if my wife, Lord, not said, but just say my wife couldn't work and my kids were below age of working, it's on me.
Right.
If I call myself the husband and the father, now if I'm baby daddy, that's not my responsibility.
That's different.
It's totally different. And that's another thing. We'll talk about
That's
that that's a whole nother show. But I'm just saying, me as a father, like we had it on the show, like they asked me, what do a husband mean? And I said that it means to me that it's some people out here that rock with me regardless. I got a troop of people that I know 100%. If I go home and say, everybody pack your shit, they're not going to say, what happened? What we doing? No, they just going to start packing their shit. And I earned that.
Yeah.
I put that out there to where I had to go through the questions before. Pack your shit. Why? What happened? No, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to come back in. And I'm going to say the same sentence. But I want a different response. It's going to be a whole different thing. And once I put that in, that's the presence. So now my kids, I'm gonna call your daddy. But believe it or not, my wife was the tough one. But that was my doing. Because I didn't come up from getting hit. You know what I mean? My mama didn't whoop me. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know if her parents whipped her or not. I didn't know how to reprimand the kids in the right way, in the wrong way. Because like I said, I'm an only child. I didn't have any brothers. I saw what happened to me, but I didn't see my mother yell at my sister.
Right.
I didn't see my mother yell at my brother. To get the outside picture of it. It's different when it's happening to you.
Yep.
It's always different when it's happening to you. So I did get my 4 off.
There you go.
I did. I got them off, y'all. I got them off.
And that's the reason I asked that. Give me 4, Jay.
Come on, Jay.
I got 3
Jay got
strong ones.
Jay.
Come on.
And it's just simple. It's real simple, man. It's authoritative, dictative, and participative, man. Like, you have to cover each one of them points, and a lot of subcategories come up under that, man, because you can be authoritative on one point where you need to just lay down the law, kind of like what they were saying, be the authority figure, be that leader figure. Then you could be dictative, dictative.
And run it.
And that's usually the least effective. It causes more resentment than anything. But sometimes you have to use that. You have to actually dictate to get people to move and do what you need them to do, and it's not always nice. Okay, it can't be sometimes. And then the participative, it's where you roll up your sleeves and you jump in there. Okay, son, or whatever, daughter, whatever, or people, group, employees, or whatever. We need this task to get done. And this is what I'm going to do to assist, to move this measure forward so everything can get done. That's the participative part. It takes those different kinds of leadership qualities and abilities for you to be effective in anything in life, whether it's personal, corporate, or whatever. And then it does take a strong financial component to it. I would say maybe if that's anything, that's the 4th one. But to me, that's the least important one, because if you don't have those other 3 in line and understand how to
It ain't gonna matter
how to utilize each one of them and how important it is for each one of them, the authoritative, the dictative, and the participative, then you're not gonna be effective. You can have all the finances in the world. This is why you have some guys that are good earners. And we just talk about family. They can take care of their family financially. They can take care of their woman financially, but they can't keep her. Because they didn't have those other things, and they didn't understand or they weren't able to affect those other 3 fundamental ideas that need to happen before any of that other stuff is important. Right.
The reason I asked that is because not hearing uniformity breaks my heart. And the reason it breaks my heart is because we don't necessarily know what the definition of a man is. It's
right.
different to you. It's different to you. It's different to me. It's different to y'all. There's no definition. Like a set definition of what you supposed to do
Standard.
to be successful. For instance, at work, right? If we have a meeting and I say, hey, I want y'all to go sell some cars. I want you to work as hard as you can. I want you to give me some gusto. What exactly does that mean?
Right.
Like, articulate that to me. Tell me what the plan is. What's the step-by-step plan that you want me to do in order to attain said gusto or said roll up your sleeves or said work? Like, what am I actually supposed to do? And I think a lot of times we don't define things. We do things on the surface and give generalities, but we don't break it down into detail. Like, okay, if I make 100 phone calls, I should talk to about 30 people. Out them 30 people, I should convince about 15 to come. Out there 15, I should sell about 7 or 8.
Metrics.
But we don't get that detailed into what it takes to be a man or a woman. So, again,
But is it? Let me ask you a question. But is it a set definition? Because it could be cultural.
I think it is.
Okay.
And the reason I think it is because the core values should be the same.
Okay.
For instance, I will never condone or be a part of anybody who does anything illegal with children.
Okay. Okay.
That is a core.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's a core value.
Yeah.
Left.
Right?
Hard left, yo.
Right.
Hard
That's
left.
a core value though. Like, we all agree that that's a core value.
Yeah,
Now,
I agree.
if you find out somebody did that, it's over.
Yeah.
I can't talk to you no more. It's a wrap. So we do agree that there are core values. Now we got to define what those core values are and then put an order to them to say which one is the most important. And once we know the order, I can say, hey, man, as long as you don't mess with these 5, I can tolerate you.
But couldn't that just be a human thing though? Because I mean, as far as like pedophilia and something like that.
Yeah, that was just an example.
That could just be a human. I mean, because that's why I say like certain things are so ambiguous, right? So certain things they could mean something different to another person. That's hardcore.
Yes.
But that's more like a human thing. I think women would have that same. Definitely, women that's raising children would have that same kind of standard for saying being a good woman.
But we can't say that because we're not women.
Right. We can't say that because we're not women, but we can speak from a masculine standpoint, right? And we can speak. You got to understand that we're not symmetrical. Like I think that's one of the things that consistently gets blurred, that men and women aren't symmetrical.
No.
So things that may be a no-go for a woman may not be the no-go for the man.
Correct.
So we have to use the hunter and gathering type of theory. And that's what we get away from it. Like you were saying, we get away from what it actually means to go out and kill. When we were talking about it earlier, you 6'5", I'm 5'9" on a good Timberland day with a couple of extra shoe pads on, 170 pounds. You need more resources than me. So if we were on an island and we want this island to thrive, there's going to be some kind of pecking order.
Yeah.
Okay, now those are the men things. It might be you eat first,
right?
Dave eat first. Then I might, unless I want to move the pecking order, I got to be very. And you just showed it when you moved the shirt.
They missed that. They missed that part.
Hey, so what you missed was I had to move the chair for my brother because
I was trying to get
up, and it was
and I was still sitting down, man.
He just didn't move.
Yes, but no, man, it is.
That's a common relief, y'all.
Yeah, I think that, man, defining what a man is and what you're supposed to do and what your responsibilities are and Create rules, boundaries, and limitations. You hear me say that all the time. I love them 3 words. Rules, boundaries, and limitations. Create those, man. And once you create those, you gotta be firm with them. You can't have no wiggle room. And we all struggle though. We all struggle. Ain't nobody perfect, man. We all go through our struggles. I put a post out a week ago. I was struggling.
Yeah,
I was struggling.
Yeah.
I was struggling just a couple days ago. I was about to do it. The world will put you in situations to test your valor on a daily basis. The thing that I have to realize is, 1, I have to do better. 2, in order for me to do better, I have to improve myself. It's not getting somebody else to stop doing something. It's not getting somebody else to speak to me different or treat me differently. I have to improve myself so that person don't feel that they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, that makes
If you build yourself up and you improve yourself enough, people are not going to treat you the way you don't want to be treated because they know that there's consequences for it. And I will say this, just in case people don't understand this, if you don't get nothing from what I say today, what we say today, get this. You don't get to control how angry somebody gets when you wrong them. I don't care if it's a splinter or a cut finger or you done chop my arm off. You don't get to tell me how mad I can be over any scenario that you done wrong me in. Some scenarios, I might go to 10, where you think I should be at 2. Some scenarios, I'll be at 2 when you think I should be at 10. But nobody gets the right to tell anybody how angry they get to be when you do something wrong.
I agree.
As you can tell,
That bothers you. Yeah, that
I was
bothers
gonna say,
you.
you can tell to get on my nerves a little bit, man.
I can tell.
It does bother me. Stop. It bothers me real bad. I can't believe you did that.
Your phone doesn't respect your presence.
My phone don't respect my presence at all, man. I can't even believe it. And I put it on off. But no, real life happens, and on this show, real life happens. I want all the stuff to be in there. I want all the mistakes to be in there because we organic. We don't plan nothing. You don't see no scripts. You don't see nobody looking at nothing.
No.
You don't see
No
none
teleprompters
of that.
back there.
Ain't no teleprompters. We just having a conversation, man, and we having a good time while we do it. The last part of the show is to give the people some value, some monetary value if you can. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, nothing like that, never claimed to be, but I just want to make sure that everybody has a mindset that, especially for the men folk, you heard me say, father man rule, one of them, make money every day. Don't ever forget that. Make money every day. Sunday is a day. You don't get it off.
Right.
You still got to do it. So, I mean, that's just part of it. Things to pay attention to. We just had an election. Things to pay attention to. Watch the market. Watch crypto. I don't know if you noticed, but there's been some shaking and moving going on in the last few days. Be intelligent about it. Be cognizant about it. Be able to conversate about it with people around you and figure out how you can make some monetary gain based on that situation. I ain't telling you what to do. I ain't telling you what to buy. I ain't telling you what to sell. I ain't telling you what to spend. I'm just saying be aware that there's opportunities that will be coming up. Make sure you're ready to take advantage of them. That is part of being an adult. That ain't even no man. That's an adult. Just being an adult, and especially living in this world. Protect yourself at all times because people gonna come for you. They're gonna try to get you off your center. They're gonna try to get you off your square. Make sure your circle's right. Make sure it's okay. And when it is okay, man, it makes life just that much easier. Make good decisions. Choose your partners wisely. Choose your partners wisely.
Say it one more time.
Choose your blankety blank partners wisely. And just so everybody understands, stop demonizing words. Stop it. Failure means that you failed at that scenario. It does not mean you are a failure. Submission means not it don't mean what you think it means. I submit every day. Every day. Every single day. And I got no problem saying it. You got a problem saying it?
Absolutely not.
You got a problem saying it?
No.
We submit to these chairs we sitting in. We don't know.
Y'all got a problem saying it? Don't nobody got a problem
right.
saying it. Stop making that word so ugly and realize that it's a part of life. And if you can't stop making that word ugly, then maybe you still got work to do because you got to improve yourself. The world is tricky to navigate, but in little pockets, man, it's good people. It's good people. In little pockets, you can find good people. And what you're supposed to do is hang on to them good people, man. Hang on to them. Fucking build them up. Help them if you can. Each one teach one. And that's the type of people you want to be around because that's conducive of a successful environment.
That's what we're looking for.
I mean, and last but not least, I'm just going to put it out there. What you got going on November 26th?
Oh,
Oh,
okay. All right, y'all. November 26th, MX Theater downtown. We have a full feature film coming out. It's called Casanova. Great cast of people right here, your hometown folks, young talent. I'm the oldest guy in the movie, so it's a lot of young talent. I tell everybody support, support, support. I say it 3 times all the time. You know, help these people. You know, y'all complain about it's nothing for the kids to do. It's nothing for them to, you know, they just run around. They're out here trying to do things, but when they do something and you don't support it, it's like a kick in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, man, we worked hard at this. We did something that wasn't illegal. We did something that people, and then nobody comes up for them. I've had people, parents won't even show up to the event, you know, and that's where people need, you know, you need your parents. You need your uncles, your cousins, because that's your family. If your family can't be there for you, you really kind of, it hurts.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It really does hurt. And not to really go into it, but Casanova, November 26th, MX Theater. Y'all be there, red carpet event. It's going to be an after party. Katie Entertainment, young lady wrote a few movies. She sells scripts, and she decided to film one, and it is a great movie. Shout out to Vic Mon Films. If y'all know who Vic Mon is, one of the best shooters in the city. Not guns, film-wise. Let me get that straight for the algorithm. Shooting films. I'm going to keep those words close together. And like it's going to be a great movie, man. Y'all need to come out, check it out. Dave Moore will be there. So it's a double whammy. Y'all get to meet Dave Moore on the red carpet, man. You know, get to talk to him, ask some questions. Jay Ali's going to be there. I don't even know if he know this yet. He'll be holding the red carpet interviews for Hustle Different Podcast down there too. So after you come out taking your picture on the red carpet, you can step over. My man Jay Ali going to say a few words to you. And last but not least, I want to tell everybody, I'm going to say this real quick. Don't be an old marionette face. I know y'all like, what is he talking about? You know, people who walk around and they've been frowning their whole life and they're just so mad all the time. And when they get old, they look like a marionette. You know, the puppet where the mouth move like that. Smile, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't look like no old puppet, man. That's all. I know it sounds crazy, but just think about what I said. Don't be an old puppet, man. All right, just look at your face, look at the mean people,
talk.
And they got that frown. Jay, I'm gonna give you the last 30 seconds, man. What you got,
There
babe?
you go. What happens, Jay? Every Sunday.
And every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Come on.
5 p.m.,
7 p.m. Sunday.
Hey, yo, look. Make sure y'all tune in to the Hustle Different Podcast, man. Every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We go live at 5. And make sure you go out to My City, My Music Radio and search for the Hustle Different Podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and stomp that notification bell. Peace out. Hustle Different.
There you go. But we appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Just like always, episode 3 in the books. A little help from my friends. Hope y'all were entertained. Hope you got some value. Peace.